You know, I'm gonna warn you. This is gonna be a political vlog. So, if you like me for other things, get off now. Just a warning. Happy Friday, everybody. It is a beautiful day. They say it's like 69 degrees right now, or 68, but in the breezeway, it's kind of, well, it's a breezeway. It's breezy and it's cool, but I'm in the shade on my patio. Sun's kind of coming in my bedroom when I'm looking out. The sun's beaming and it's hot. But it feels really good right now. It's supposed to be like 73 today. So if any golfers are out there, it'd be a perfect day to go golfing. I'm not a golfer. Miniature golf, pretty good. Not actual golfing. So, you know, I'm gonna warn you. This is gonna be a political vlog. So, if you like me for other things, get off now. Just a warning. So, you know, I get on sites that I see from friends, Facebook, and I learned a long time ago. I lost a friend on Facebook back in the Obama years. She was a good friend in high school, and I kind of hate that we unfriended each other because of it. So I quit doing politics on Facebook. So my girlfriend, and she had this site. It's on Facebook. It is America Together We Rise. It's on Facebook, you guys. It's a group. Go check it out. They had something, I don't remember exactly what it was that they had on that she posted, and instead of saying something underneath the post that she shared, I went directly to the group and I made my comments. You know what's really weird, and well, no, it's not really weird, it's to be expected with these people. They don't see anything wrong with what they do or say. They want to attack you, but they can't hang with you. You know, I can sit there and write a book, and the first person that attacks me, and then I write back to them, never says a word. But then when the people after them says something, it's like it's an insult, like 3 words, or they post a meme or a GIF or, you know, something of that nature. They cannot hang. And I'm just like, are you guys serious? Is that all you can do? Is an insult? Are you not that intelligent? And I did say this last time. I mean, insults, is that it? And then one of them they put up, and I looked it up, is the okay sign. Like this. Well, they have it underneath as a white privilege. and they are targeting conservatives and Republicans, and they have like 3 people doing it. And then I read on the internet that supposedly a Trump intern did it in a picture that has all been ruled out, that never happened. And it doesn't matter what paper, shoot, I can't think, internet site I go to, it's all been ruled out. It's not true. And that mainly is a Western state thing about the white privilege sign. It's not an Eastern thing, but it got worse and tagged by the left wing. And so, of course, you know, Trump is always doing that. And so now they're trying to use that as white privilege. So when I seen these, so I had like 2 people say something, and one of them kept putting up these GIS, and I said, well, all you guys can do is insult me. Do you guys not have any intelligence? And by the way, white privilege, amuse me. Please, tell me, what is it? And so far, nobody has commented back. And I responded within 22 minutes of them posting that. So, this is what they do. They want to sock it to me, but whenever I come back at them, they don't respond back. Somebody else comes back at me. So, now I am just waiting on somebody to say something back to me, because it's not going to be the same people. It never is. Because nobody knows how to respond to me. I mean, I can sit and I can talk to them all day long. I can feed them facts all day long. And one of the things that they had up was about the witch hunt. And they were talking about Trump's. And they were like, well, what makes you think that we're talking about Trump? I'm like, you know what? I've just been waiting to see Hillary and Obama in orange suits. Orange jumpsuits. I'm going to see if it's her color. Well, what makes you think it's about Trump? I'm just waiting for them to drain the swamp. And I went into great detail about Obama's, because they're talking about Trump's administration. So I went in great detail about Obama's administration. Yeah, and it's funny. I don't write a damn book, and nobody knows how to respond to me. You know, they can't deal with the truth. So, since they can't deal with the truth, they just stop. But then somebody else will try to hammer me, and then I go back at them, and then not the same person comes back at me. It's always somebody else. What kind of... I haven't figured it out yet. And then we have these millennials who... I watched this guy. He is over from the UK somewhere. I'm not sure where he's from. And anyway, what caught my eye was talking about a millennial. And she lives off of what she makes on YouTube. And she had written to a hotel asking for a free stay while she's there, and she would give them all kinds of, you know, while she's there, give them all kinds of, you know, reviews and you know, getting all kinds of people to come and stay with them and whatever, and oh, I have all these followers on this and this and this and this, and I will post everything and videos on all of these social sites. So they came back at her. I said, you know, we have X amount of this on Facebook, this and this, but it's not all about that. So, you know, no, we don't need you to, you know, publicize for us. You can pay just like everybody else. And she was horrified. And I checked out her page or her channel, and I was not impressed by it. So, yeah, I just, okay. But, you know, my kids are 21 and 24. I guess not all kids that age act that way. I guess there are some that still have smarts, and there's some parents that have brought them up the right way. But just not that one. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know where they came from. You know what happened? You know, 10 Commandments came out of the schools while I was in elementary school. Then, you know, slowly everything was taken out of schools. Then, you know, parents can't whip their children. Everything was, I can call the cops. Discipline. My kids still got whippings. Go sit in timeout, please. That doesn't work. Send them to their rooms. Really? They have everything they want in their rooms. Is our future. Millennials aren't as big as the rest of us that are still alive, and they will not remove, I will not see the removal of my Second Amendment rights in my lifetime. Maybe not even during my daughter's lifetime. Maybe in my granddaughter's. I don't know. But it won't be in mine. And even if they ever try to get rid of it, I'll just be a criminal because I will not get rid of them. But it's really sad. I watch, I think his name is Mark Dice. And he goes out, and he's got a lot of vlogs where he's went out, he's talked to, he's in California, and he's went out a lot, you know, and about by the beach, where he can talk to all these kids, you know, in the millennial age, and it's amazing at how stupid some of these kids are. I mean, they are just absolutely dumb. But I guess if you don't pay attention in school, and the schools just keep passing you, you know, from grade 9, 10, 11, and 12, and don't pay attention whether you can really know anything, then I guess that's what happens. It's just amazing. They don't know our history. You know, that was all taken out of the books. And when you start in on history, when people want to start arguing with you, they don't know how to come back. I had somebody, it's one of my son's ex-girlfriends. I don't know why all of his girlfriends want to friend request me. But they do, and I don't mind. I've got 2 that are still on my friends list. I'm just like, oh, whatever. No, I don't care. But one of them is just, oh my gosh. Both of them I've met. They both come to Louisville, and they've stayed the weekend. I really liked one of them, and I don't know what happened there. But this other one, she was kind of dingy and played the victim. And anyway, she, yeah, she's a definite millennial, and one of her friends started going off on this one thing, and so I went back off on it, and she kept on, and I was like, she said, I'm not even going to go into a debate. So, well, you know what, that's a good thing. Because you know what? I'm not somebody that you want to go into a debate with. She said, yeah, you know, you're probably right. I probably don't want to go into it. Nope, you don't. Because both of y'all are not clearly very educated. I don't care if you're going to college, you're not that educated. If you can sit here and talk about Obamacare like that. And there was one person in there that was, I looked at her, she's a little bit older than me, but she knows exactly what I'm talking about, because hey, we are living that era. We know what's going on. We know what life was like before Obama. We know that medical insurance, and it was better before the government stepped in. And so, you know, I still get into a lot, and I still do get into a lot of debates on Twitter. But it's only whenever I get on there and I pay any attention. I still have people still trying to argue with me over stuff, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm done with you. Just go away. There is no reasoning with some people. And, I guess that's what some of these people figured out with me, that, no, I am reasoning with you. You are just got your blinders on, and I guess that Kool-Aid is really, really strong. I mean, I don't know what they're doing with that Kool-Aid, but it's really strong. And I'm just like, when Hillary Clinton was running for president, I just couldn't understand why people wanted her as president. She didn't even do a good job as Secretary of State. She has blood on her hands. I mean, look at the 4 men that died in Benghazi, and her and Obama both were out drinking and living it up when they were supposed, they promised that they would be there to take that call for backup, and neither one of them were there. And people still wanted her for president. She has blood on her hands. And that was one of the things that I said. I said, both of them. When somebody had something that they could tell the press, somehow, some way, those people came up dead. Well, not with Trump, though. Trump's put everything out there. They want his income tax, he'll give them to you. You want his medical, he'll give them to you. But Hillary wouldn't. So, Hillary was for herself. Trump is for everybody. And people don't understand that. If you're a Democrat and you're not rich by now, you're never going to be rich. I mean, that's just a fact of life. Okay? If you're not well off by now, you're never going to be well off. And the Democrat and Republican Party is not what it was whenever I was 18. My parents were Democrat. They were. My parents were like every other parent when they were young. Both of my parents were working when they were young. But as my parents got older, my dad was, this is what was really cool though about my parents. Because when you go on Ancestry.com, you find out so much stuff that you didn't know. And it was really cool because my dad died when I was 11. So, and then my mom died when I was 18. So, going back to Ancestry.com, I found all kinds of really cool things. So, I knew that my dad was on the police force in Bowling Green, Kentucky. But when I went on Ancestry.com, I knew they lived in Louisville, but I really didn't know why or whatever. Anyway, let's just get to the point. So, I'm on Ancestry.com. And, okay, I see Louisville. I see my parents. Because it goes on the census. And it tells you what their ages are, who's in the household, and what their occupations are. So, my dad was on the Louisville Police Department. It didn't say anything about what my mom was doing. By the time my dad retired, we paid cash for everything. And when you can pay cash for a house that's over $100,000, you're doing very well off. And you know, my dad went back to work part-time because he couldn't stand being retired. He retired at, what, 60, I think. And so I was brought up really well. And but I was spoiled. But my parents, by the time they had us, they had already made themselves established. But they were old Democrats. They were what the party was back then. And people don't realize that there is a difference between then and now. And even whenever I started voting, there is a difference between then and now. And I remember my mom telling me, well, who'd you vote for? And this was for 92. Okay, so the 92 presidential election was Ross Perot, George Bush, and Bill Clinton. I voted for Bush. My mom voted for Clinton. Clinton won. And my mom asked me, well, what did you vote? I said, I voted for Bush. She said, he's Republican. She said, I'm Democrat. She said, your vote just marked out my vote, canceled my vote. She wasn't too happy with me. But, you know, we all have our own, you know, opinions, and I voted that way the rest of the time, and that's how I feel, and that is my, you know, Democrats have changed, and so has the Republican Party. And I don't always vote completely across the board as Republican, because there are better candidates that aren't Republican, that are Democrat or independent. And so, you know, even whenever I'm sitting, you know, here in the city or the state, if there are better candidates that are better qualified, or, you know, that I think could do a better job, or, you know, that have proved themselves, then I don't necessarily vote across the board as Republican. You know, some people, it doesn't matter. They vote across the board Democrat, or they vote across the board, you know, Republican. But that's their choice. And, you know, some people are raised, you vote Democrat no matter what, or you vote Republican no matter what, or, you know, any of that. And, well, I just don't do that. And, so, you know, I know some people, my husband is a union, he's in a union, he works for Ford, and some people just really believe that, you know, you work for a union, then you need to vote Democrat. And, you know, you don't have to vote Democrat. It's not a necessity to be hired. It's not a necessity, you know. But it's, you know, I worked on Matt Bevin's U.S. Senate campaign. And I had my whole complex, which is a huge apartment community. And then I had the entire neighborhood behind me. And I went door to door. But only to Republican conservatives. And so I didn't have to go to people that weren't, you know, Democrat or whatever. And so, you know, some people, they were Republican, but because they worked for Ford, they were going to vote Democrat. And so I was like, you know, just because you work for Ford doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. So it didn't matter. Bevin didn't win. And Mitch McConnell did, which it still didn't matter because it was still a Republican. But he did win the governor. He did win Kentucky governor. I worked on that campaign. I do some things. I don't do a whole lot, but I do some things. And a lot of this stuff for young minds and old minds alike, you know, it's like I tell people, you know, I think I know more now than I did when I was younger, because I have had to fight and debate and with these people because they want to run their mouths and they don't know what they're talking about. And even if you go and you look and you can find all these sites and, oh, well, that one's not reputable. Well, let me tell you, first of all, most of the media, most of the newspapers are owned by George Soros. Like, okay, so you're going to sit here and tell me that this is not a reputable site, but it's owned by George Soros, who backed Obama and Hillary Clinton. And then they never say anything back to me. I'm like, okay. It's just... But I've learned a lot since I've been deemed completely disabled due to my illnesses, and that is the only thing keeping me sane right now, because, you know, being disabled and not being able to go back to work has been the roughest thing for me. So I just learn and spread my wisdom that other people don't like. Apparently. No, but really. It is amazing at all the people that are absolutely blinded. Where's their blinders? Why are they not opened up? Because, you know, people are pissed off. And it's funny, because I seen it on another vlog. They're mad because their free money's gone. I'm not joking. They are literally mad. I'm serious. I seen this. They were asking, who was it? Mark Dice, I think. He was asking about Trump. He took all the free money away. And you know what? That's a millennium. But that's just like me talking about, you know, him taking away welfare. Well, you know what? I pissed some people off in that vlog. But you know what? You don't get pissed off if it doesn't apply to you. So if you got pissed off, then it must have applied to you. So it pissed some people off. And then somebody got some people on a vlog that it pissed them off. People want a free ride. That's why people are so upset Hillary didn't win. That's why people were so happy that we had Obama. Because Obama, free insurance for all, cell phones, welfare for everybody, open borders. You know, the only good thing that came out of that whole Obama period was the pre-existing conditions with health insurances was gone. That was the only thing good. You know, his first 4 years really wasn't that big of a deal. But his second 4 years, he really took a big turn. And that's when people really started taking notice. People thought that he was going to do something for them because of the color of his skin. But the truth of the matter is, he didn't care. He didn't care if you were green, purple, yellow, brown, black, white. You know, he didn't care. It was all for him. He was going to break the United States. He was going to break the American people, and he didn't care how he had to do it, and he was going to do it. He was going to ruin America. And he damn near he damn near did it. And you know what? People still worship this man. And they're upset. People are so butthurt over Hillary. But she was going to do, and you know, maybe that's why they liked it, because she was still going to continue with what he had done and what he was going to accomplish. You know, people talk about, you know, Trump and the race wars and dividing the country, and you know, he didn't divide the country. It was already divided. Racism, you know, people didn't play that race card like they are now, or like they were during Obama. Obama started pulling that race card. And him and his cronies, Eric Holder and Al Sharpton, just made it worse. So I pulled up about the protests. They weren't civil. The riots, they weren't civil. How they blocked the roads, that's against the law. How they turned cars over, burned crap, looted stores, you know, pull people out of their cars, break out windows, beat up cars, beat people in their cars. I mean, that's not happening now. But people still want to say that, you know, Trump has, you know, divided the country. And I'm sorry, but you can't divide a country that's already been divided by a previous president. And how can you say something about a president that has done more for our country in the time that he's been president than a past person? I can't even, never called him my president. He was a dictator in a country that didn't have dictators. He was, or he thought he was a king in a country that didn't have kings. He was just something there soaking up the American money. And he didn't get nothing accomplished except for draining the American way, taking God out of our country, bringing in diseases and a bunch of illegals, and dividing our country and causing race wars. And you know, this is what's happening here in Louisville right now. We have had, not exactly 100% sure, but we have had, I want to say 4 in our West End which is not uncommon because that's where all of our crime is. Everybody has an end of the town where you have crime. It just happens. It's normal. It's nothing out of the ordinary, but it's had to be forced use by police officers who have cameras, body cameras on them, and the police have released the cameras footage. But there have been people shot and killed, and now Black Lives Matter has stepped back in, and they're mad. But these people have thrown knives and have hit a police officer. Have been told to drop a gun, didn't do it. Has been tased, but didn't work. I don't remember. I don't even know what this last one was, but yeah, now they're getting mad. But guess what? This is not going to be a state that they're going to be able to fight. You know, it's not a race. It's not a race thing. The West End is primarily black. It is low income. But in the West End we do have something called Portland. It is low income, white. It's in the West End. And things like that happen there too. It's just, it's the very low income end of town. And some people just, I mean, I don't think that everybody over there is low income. I think that they have lived there, and it's generation after generation that's lived there. And at one time, it was a nice end of town, just like other parts of town. That at one time was a good end of town. It was a pretty, you know, you got grandparents that lived down there that, you know, at one time it was nice. And now, just over the years and, you know, decades, it's changed. So, you know, you still have grandparents still living down there that's not ever going to move. So, but that's where our crime happens. I mean, there are times that things happen in the good end of town, but it mostly happens. And this is not uncommon. It's springtime, and when summer gets here, spring and summer is when the most crime happens at that end of town. It is not uncommon, and but now Black Lives Matter is on top of it, and so it's gonna get some news. But you know, if it would have been a white guy, they still would have done it. It wouldn't have mattered. But it's gonna get more publicized because it's a black person. But you know, if it would have been a white person, it would still happen. That's what's happening here. You know, I looked up white privilege, and it is just like a mindset of people thinking that people of a certain skin color can get better education, live in a better part of town, makes more money, and that sort of stuff. And I am here to tell you, as a Caucasian, that is not true. Because even though I had parents that at a certain point in their life, they finally, you know, had money, because they were older, and they, you know, my dad was born in 1920, my mom was born in 1930. You do the math, and so since they were older, and they had the American dream. So that doesn't make me white privileged. That just means I had older parents that were smart and knew back then how to save money, and you know, that was back in the good days. And so that doesn't make me white privileged. I worked. I had 2 kids young, and I had to sacrifice. I had to work for everything that I had. So it's nothing by no means was ever white privileged. You know, there's plenty of black people that I went to school with that had a lot of privileges and that a lot of other people didn't have. So, you know, it's not based on color at all. You know, I can sit here and I can joke with my neighbor who is black, and he was teasing me about white privilege, and I was laughing with him yesterday because it was funny. So it's just, you know, it's just kind of funny and fun things that you do. That Bugs Bunny?
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore.
They just started making them again.
Oh. But my neighbor, he's a retired Detroit police officer, and we talk a lot. He's like the first neighbor I met when we moved over here on this end of the apartment complex, and he's black. He was teasing me yesterday about vlogging, and he was teasing me and talking about the white privilege. I'm like, what are you talking about, white privilege? If I had white privilege and was rich, I wouldn't be sitting out here. So we were just teasing each other. So we all doing good fun, and you know, I'm very hard to offend. So we just have all good fun. And you know, when you live somewhere for 5 years, you learn everybody. It's just crazy at what you see. And what you read, and then when you look it up and you back it up, and people are crazy, and they're gonna be crazy, and you know, there's nothing we can do about it. We just gotta turn our heads and hope that somebody's gonna knock some sense into them. But we really need to check out that site. Let me see if I can pull it back up. My God, I wish she'd quit. I might have to unfriend her. She's trying to get me to... Somebody just keeps on trying to get me to do this. What is it? CBD oil or whatever. It's like HTC in it. And I'm not interested in it. And I keep ignoring her. And she just keeps on sending it to me. I am not at all interested in it. I keep telling her, but she doesn't pay attention. Okay. It's on Facebook, and it is a group. It is called America Together We Rise. You guys have got to check it out. Because if you're watching my political vlogs, then you're in the same mindset as me. So this is a far left-wing group on Facebook. You have really got to go see it. Yeah. It is, the people on there are fruitcakes. That's all I got to say about them. Just absolute fruitcakes. So, I'm going to have to get off of here. My camera is about ready to die. So, you guys have a good day. If it's beautiful, get out and enjoy it. I don't know if I'll do any more vlogs the rest of the weekend. So, if not, you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you either tomorrow or Monday. Have a good day.